The time factor cannot affect the span of the life of the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated that a little execution of devotion service saves one from greatest danger. The greatest danger is transmigration of the soul from one body to another, and only devotion service to the Lord can stop this process. It is stated in the Vedic literatures, Harim vina na shrutim taranti. Without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot stop the cycle of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated that only by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord and His activities, His appearance and disappearance, can one stop the cycle of death and go back to Him. The time factor is divided into many fractions of moments, hours, months, years, periods, seasons, etc. All the divisions in this verse are determined according to astronomical calculations of Vedic literature. There are 6 seasons called Ritus, and there is a period of 4 months called Chaturmasya. 3 periods of 4 months complete 1 year. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, there are 13 months. The 13th month is called Adhimasa or Malamasa and is added every 3rd year. The time factor, however, cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees. In another verse it is stated that when the sun rises and sets, it takes away the life of all living entities. But it cannot take away the life of those who are engaged in devotional service. Time is compared to a big wheel which has 360 joints, 6 rims in the shape of seasons, and numberless leaves in the shape of moments. It rotates on the eternal existence, Brahman. So on seeing Lord, Kardama Muni continues his prayers. Here he says, your wheel, that is the wheel of time. And he describes the structure of that wheel. And he says that by the revolution of that wheel, the lifespan of the entire creation is cut short. In other words, it is going towards, from creation, it's going towards dissolution. When it dissolves, then the entire creation vanishes, or lifespan of creation is decreased as this wheel of time rotates at tremendous velocity. But it cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. So how do we understand this? It cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. There are 2 ways of experiencing time. One is you think that you are moving with the events. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2017, 2018, 2019. You think you are going there. Another way of seeing is, you are stationary and events are moving. You can either experience time as past, present, future. That I was in the past, I'll be in the future, now I am in the present. This is normally everybody's thinking. And when somebody is thinking like this, then his experience also will be affected by the movement of time. But that is not the only way to experience. If someone is fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna is eternal, his lotus feet is eternal. And if one is permanently fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, he sees the time or simply events moving away. This way, that way. He is not moving. in time. I am not moving in time. What are you? I am fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. And as events are moving, fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, he engages everything in service of the Lord. He is engaged in the service of the Lord. So, in that perspective, the devotee is not affected by the movement of Kala Chakra. Devotee means devotee's soul. His body body itself he sees as something which is outside of him, which is an event happening. Certain events are happening around this body, birth to death, and which is a fact. It's only a question of how, if one has got a permanent point to hold on, then he can see that all these present, past, future are just, in one sense, that time is an illusion. This material time is like an illusion. Only events are moving. So this is the way in which we can understand that the time does not affect the lifespan of the devotees. Another reason is the living entity, the one who is engaged in pure devotion service of the Lord, one who is engaged in, he has nothing to achieve in future. We are always trapped in the time because I want to achieve something, I want to achieve something, I want to achieve something. So therefore, your consciousness get trapped in that time and you go, now I don't have, tomorrow I will have, I want to achieve. So this way also our consciousness get trapped in material time. So because we are desiring some fruit in future, therefore we get caught in this time. Suppose the only fruit that the devotee thinks is devotion service of the Lord. I just want to serve the Lord. I have to be engaged in serving the Lord. Details of the service is circumstantial. I have nothing to achieve. I have achieved everything. Krishna's lotus feet, serving his lotus feet. What is there to achieve? What is there to look forward in future? Except to increase my devotion to the Lord. And in the course of increasing the devotion to the Lord, he has to engage in various activities with his senses. So it does not matter whether, what happens tomorrow or what it is. All those things are in the hands of Kala, in the hands of time. Time moves according to Lord's direction. He is moving everything. So in other words, when the devotee is fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord and fixed with only one aim, which is to serve the Lord, what is service of the Lord? Shikena Shikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. In a worldly sense, we think service means giving something which is, like giving a result of something. But devotion service, pure devotion service is service itself. The devotee does not claim any proprietorship over the work, nor the outcome of the work. This is a very tough thing to practice. When one practices this and lives just to please the Lord by surrender, by activity of devotion service. At a neophyte stage, we may say, my devotion service is offered to offer the results of my activities to the Lord. Because right there is ignorance also. I produce a result. I am the doer, then I offer. At least we should know what is the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is to engage in devotional service, to engage in all the soul's faculties in service of the Lord. How, when, where, all these are all things which are again under the control of the Lord. In the material world, it is under the control of the external energy. In the spiritual world, it is in the control of the internal energy. By surrendering to the internal energy of the Lord, all details are manifest of service. So we have a right to act, but not to the fruit. This is something which is not only applicable in the material world, in the spiritual world also. It's a universal law. I have right to serve, but not to the fruit. Fruit is, so many other factors are there. You are only an actor, then so many other factors are there. So very clearly the living entity separates himself from the three modes of material nature, separates himself from the details of this material world. That's detachment, including this body. So his goal is to continuously, how I can maintain unmotivated devotion service, and everything else will automatically be taken care. He can observe that. He also becomes like the Paramatma. He becomes also a witness. Kshetrajna, he knows. He knows, he desires to offer everything to the Lord. So that way, the devotee comes out of the... Just like we all constantly we are thinking, okay, rest of the life is there, what is to be done? It's a big issue for us. Life is moving on. Future is a big issue for us. For everyone, future is a big issue. For a devotee, future is killed. What is their future? Everything is over. I found who is God. And goal of life is to go on serving Him. What is there in future? Nothing is going to happen. This is the best thing to happen. Continuously I shall be engaged in service of the Lord. So therefore, it is said that the devotees are not affected by this kala. It all depends on the consciousness being placed in connection with Krishna. In activity, in mind, there is a kind of background, eternal, static situation for a devotee. And the world is moving. I am not moving in the world. World is moving. I am not moving in the world. Where are you then? I am fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. I am fixed at the devotion, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with the holy name. Then only one can attain that peace. Brahmabhuta prasannatma. Na sochati na kankshati. Na sochati na kankshati. Lamentation and hankering. Lamentation means you go to the past. Hankering means you go into the future. Brahmabhuta prasannatma. Brahma means okay, static. No doubt, our mind, our intelligence, all these things will have to work through our yantra has to work through the Kala Chakra, because Kala Chakra is a reality. It is a real energy of the Lord. It is a real energy of the Lord for the living entities who want to be in this material world and lord over the material nature. When opportunity is given. Devotees have full faith that the Lord is in control. Actually, when the devotee is surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, or he practices surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord under the instructions of the spiritual master, then he is actually not under this prakriti that the karmis are under. It is a daiva prakriti ashritaha. That is the position of Mahatmas. Daiva prakriti ashrita. They are situated, ashritaha means sheltered, daiva prakriti. Another prakriti is actually moving everything for them. So he does not think that he is a doer. In the material world itself, Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. And if you identify with material nature, you will think that you are material, you are moving material nature. Your body is doing everything. If you don't identify, yes, body is doing, so what? I am not doing. That statement of Krishna is true even in the spiritual world. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha. There also, the living entity, what is he then he is doing? He is completely absorbed in bhakti rasa. Rasa of relationship with the Supreme Lord. In devotional service. But that devotional service is facilitated by internal energy of the Lord. So these are the principles under which the devotee is not affected. The statement here is not affected by, the time factor cannot affect the span of life of the devotees. See, once you understand you are not the body, then is a body's lifespan your lifespan? No. When I think I am the body, my body's lifespan is my lifespan. So when the devotee understands that I am not this body, I am eternal servant of Krishna, the time factor cannot affect the lifespan of the devotees. Arey, my life is eternal. So to come out of this material world, transmigration from one body to another, that tantamounts to coming out of this influence of material time. And greatest danger in transmigration of the soul from one body to another body. That's the greatest danger. Sulpamalpanasya dharmasya trayeto mahato bhayat. This mahato bhayat is this only. It is not bhaya from some snake bite and this and that, or some problems in the material world, adhyatmika, adidevika, adi. No. It is a bhaya of being trapped in one more life. Having to take another body in this material world. So without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot stop this cycle of birth and death. So the Lord is seated in everyone's heart. And the Lord liberates the living entity from this influence of time. And then one is not constantly under tomorrow. No, he is fixed. My struggle is over. Materialists are constantly struggling. Struggling for means what? For something future. Struggling. Some outcome, something. They are struggling. Devotees are also struggling. But their struggle is different. Their struggle is to get detached. Their struggle is to get attached to Krishna. Their struggle is to give up the taste for material enjoyment and take up the taste of Krishna consciousness. This is their constant struggle to change their quality of life from material life to spiritual life in relationship with the Supreme Lord through devotional service. And in this process, There is nothing external like that. It's not that, okay, now it's the struggle for the devotee is not, spiritual struggle for the devotee is not, okay, we should finish Vaikuntha Hill project. That is not the struggle. That is not spiritual struggle. Or I should collect this much. That is not spiritual struggle. It may be connected to spiritual struggle. I should sincerely put all my energies in service of the Lord, in collecting. That is, when you translate it to that, yes, then that is spiritual struggle. The spiritual struggle is to engage oneself uninterruptedly, unmotivatedly in the service of the Lord. This is a constant struggle for a devotee. And in this struggle, you see, there is no time factor involved. Suppose externally something you have to attain, then there is a external, you go and you fall into the outside time. Whatever service I am doing, whatever devotional service I am doing day after day, I want to struggle to make it free from any motivations. And I want it to be uninterrupted. So in such a struggle, it is not a time-based struggle. It is an eternal struggle. The devotee is, that is a spiritual struggle rasa. It is actually a rasa. Because it is, Lord as Paramatma is directly involved in every struggle of that. Seated within the heart, Chaitya Guru, spiritual master, Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashita, by transcendental knowledge, one is enlightened about these things. So in this struggle, he is not alone. In spiritual struggle, one is not alone. In spiritual struggle, one is accompanied, guided, protected, mercifully helped by the spiritual master. So that is the first project for every devotee should be his spiritual struggle. That is primary. Then bodily struggle is secondary. Bodily struggle in service of Krishna, body, mind and is secondary. It will come. Once one is spiritually struggling, the bodily struggle will automatically come. That is why the devotees, whatever he achieves anything for the Lord, comes without a material endeavor. You have to understand what is the meaning of the endeavor is a very fine meaning. Endeavor means in the heart you work. It does not come from material chesta. It comes out of spiritual chesta, spiritual endeavor. So if the devotee is focused on chanting and all the things that Prabhupada has told us, then without material endeavor, preaching also will expand. And that is a process. One should lose faith in one's material abilities independently. One should not identify with that. At a neophyte stage, we think all of these things. See, I am able to distribute so many books, I am able to do this thing, so much. And then they become so much proud about their ability. And they connect that success with increased devotion to Prabhupada and Krishna. I have my devotion, somebody was distributed 10 books, somebody distributed 20 books. The person is thinking that I have double devotion than 10 books distributed. Materialistic calculations. There are hundreds of factors why this devotee did 20, why that devotee did 10. On the last number you cannot figure out. But those who are guiding the devotees can make out what is in his heart, what is in his heart. What was in his heart while he was doing, what was in his heart after doing. What was in the heart of this devotee while doing, after doing. How does he perceive his service? So these things are all very fundamental principles, which actually, if one wants to taste the finer rasa of timelessness, which is being described here, it is a tremendous amount of practice to be situated eternally in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means eternal. There is no material time going there. You are not moving with the material energy. Material energy is moving around you. You are not moving from baby to boy to manhood to old age. No, you are not moving. The body is moving from baby to boy to manhood to, it's moving. So, yeah, I am not moving. Where are you? If you are not moving, where are you? That is the point. The impersonalists, they do not know where to fix themselves. But we are Brahman, we are fixed at Parabrahman. We are fixed in the activities. What is that fixed in? Means not spatially fixed. We are fixed in the activity of devotion service of the Lord. So this one thing about life, every devotee should get this settlement in life. I am settled. This is one of the factors that makes one desireless. Materially desireless it makes him. I am settled, there is nothing. What am I settled? Desire means something. No, one after that goes on. Life goes on. Desire. No, I have settled. Because I have achieved the ultimate desire. Ultimate desire is to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Ultimate desire is to serve the Lord. Just like when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, devotional service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Now don't chant for anything else. The moment you say, okay, you have to chant because if you don't chant that. No, don't. You chant because you want to chant Hare Krishna. You chant Hare Krishna because you want to serve. Right there, that's over. That's it. For that service, nothing far away I am looking. In other words, we should not use devotion service. We should not even think little that devotion service is a means to some other end. Even devotion service is a means to see Krishna one day. That is another. Where he is right there. You go down to serve the holy name. He's already come there. So what is the goal of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Is to chant Hare Krishna. Chant and hear. It's over. Everything is over. Perfect. If you simply chant for the sake of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the holy name will thinking, he is chanting just for me. Not he is chanting because if he chants my name, then he will get that. If he chants my name, he will get this. You chant to get chanting. You chant Hare Krishna so that you can always chant Hare Krishna. You serve the holy name for what purpose? So that you can serve the holy name. The loop is ended there only. The mind doesn't go anywhere else. So one can experience timelessness if one simply chants and hears in this manner. But if one chants and in his mind he is going into future something, either spiritual or material, or mixed, he is out of association with the holy name, there, right there. Let's say I come to your house, just I came to see you. But everybody is so conditioned in this material world, you'll think, why did you come? Something must be there. No, nothing, I just came to see you, That's all I came. And if you're really convinced about that, you will be so happy about that person. Yes or no? Huh? Nothing, I just came to see you. Yeah, I can't believe. No, I just came to see her. Nothing I wanted. Just came to see her. I am very happy now. See. So similarly, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. Oh, if I don't chant this, if I don't... No. I just want to chant. I just want to associate with the holy name. I just want to serve the holy name. Therefore I am chanting. See, completely, your japa becomes totally unconditional. It is a great opportunity to practice unconditional relationship. With whom we can have unconditional relationship other than with the Lord Himself. Only there that unconditional relationship is deserved. Nowhere else. Or the spiritual master or anybody who represent that Lord. Any questions? Mike.
It is like today's class is almost like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that soul is immovable.
Yes.
But generally people say soul is moving from one body to another body. But Prabhupada says that immovable means it doesn't move from its constitutional position. Either
Right.
you are serving Krishna willingly or serving Krishna indirectly
Yes.
through his senses. So you are always, engaging in Krishna service is a constant. So in that way, the devotees are continuously engaging in service. So Kala is the external aspect. So it is similar to immovable and timeless.
You are
Is
right.
it not true?
The Paramatma is, the person who is receiving the service is eternal. The Atma is eternal. Devotion service is eternal. It does not need any time and space, nothing. And in the material world, when we are doing service, the time and space and energy is all moving around you. And what comes in your control, you engage it in the service of the Lord. You are situated in Paramatma. That is the constitutional position. What is that dimension? Is it this space or that space or nothing? It is inconceivable. The dimension of Paramatma, dimension of actually soul is inconceivable, materially speaking.
And Prabhupada says in the Krishna book also that time is external. It can be twisted in any way. It is external. Like for Brahma in one moment, for him, for us, it became a 1 year.
Right.
But same time, Krishna reverses for hours, 12 hours, that is one night. For Brahma's 1 day. In the Rasa Leela, Prabhupada says Kala is only external factor. It's under Krishna's control. So it is we engaging in Krishna service.
Time is a big mystery, even for the scientist. Big mystery. Whatever they think, then little they understand, but actually they don't understand. As an external energy itself, they don't understand time. Modern science, modern physics also, they don't understand. Not that we understand. We transcendentally understand. But materially, what is time in their more measure, they have got more and more, they're continuing to research. I have explained in several classes how time dilates with speed. About the twin paradox. Two twins are there. One twin will get into a rocket. He will go around nearly speed of light and he'll come back. Make one small chakkar and come back. In his clock, 5 minutes have passed in his clock. When he comes here, 50 years would have passed. Then he'll get down from the rocket. He will see his twin brother, a old man. And his time has dilated, has run slowly, according to speed of relative speed of the frame of reference, the time also slows down. So this scientists have proved. So in other words, time is a fabric of external energy. It's a fabric, just like length, breadth, height. So nowadays nobody talks. Nobody can talk in terms of space. They talk in terms of time and space. Time before was simply a psychological value. What is psychological value? Certain things called past and future, it's all psychological, they were thinking. But then they found out that time is an external, actually a factor. Time and space are related actually. Just like length, breadth, there are 3 dimensions of space. So now this is 3 dimensions of something else. 4th dimension, they found time is an external energy. So it's a very big mystery. Whereas our Bhagavatam is talking structure of time. Time has got so many spokes and this and that and rims and 3 rims, and nobody can figure out all these things. So easily being talked about. In Kardama Muni is talking, he is describing Kala Chakra. All these things can be researched by someone, future. Probably that is the way the scientists also will come to have faith in Srimad Bhagavatam. My God, so much we are struggling, and then here it is already very easily being described. For us it is taking centuries to come to this understanding. What does it mean? What does the 3 rim means? What is 360 joints mean? It must be meaning something, no? It is not 361, it is not 359, it is 360. That means it is something particular in the existence which Kardama Muni is talking about. And we have no idea. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.